Hi, Cancer, Sun, Moon, and Rising. Welcome back to those of you who are already part of our community, and welcome to those of you who are new. For those of you who are new here, my name is Jackie, and I post weekly messages for each of the astrological archetypes. I combine tarot with astrology, numerology, and psychology, and I do recommend checking your rising sign first, then sun, and then your moon sign. If you have some extra time, definitely check out your Venus placement as well. And if you're not sure of your placements and you know what time you were born, check out any of the free birth chart calculators online. I recommend this for the most holistic and complete understanding of your energies. Please remember, these energies that I'm reading here are general for the astrological archetype and not personal readings. I wouldn't have to know your personal birth placements to understand how the current transits are communicating with the individual energies right now. So that said, I would suggest take what resonates, throw out the rest, right? And if you like my energy and you find value in these readings, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so that you don't miss my weekly postings. Okay, so let's get into pulling some oracles to start the reading. I'm going to pull oracles. I'm going to do a Celtic cross spread. I'm going to do 3 different relationship spreads. One's for single, one for those of you who are coupled, and for those of you in a complicated, maybe in separation situation. All timestamps will be in the description box below for your convenience. All right, so the stars of the week, in my opinion, new moon in Cancer, Chiron retrograde. New moon in Cancer is hitting on the 9th, and we have on the 15th, Chiron is going retrograde. We'll be going retrograde until the 19th of December, and I love when Chiron goes retrograde. There's so much healing having to do with that, so I love it. And for you guys, it's happening in your 10th house of career, public reputation, and standing in the world. So I really like that. Now, as far as the new moon energy, obviously Cancer, it's happening in your first house of self, hanging out with the sun. So the big focus, it's all about you guys right now. Now, those energies are going to be sitting in natural opposition to Pluto, which is all about endings and beginnings, the need to transform something. The 7th house has to do with marriage contracts, business contractual partnerships, any kind of partnership that you have that would, in your opinion, be considered a soul contract or quite literally a contract. The soulmate just kind of wanted to pop out the soulmate penguins on this one, but it jumped back in. So let's see what we have going on here. So we have a lot of interesting energies that are going on. We still have that fixed T-square working on our energies this week. If you want more information on that, I focused a lot more on it on my videos last week if you want to check that out. Very profound energies. So we still feel those kind of trickling out right now. So that's between your 2nd house, your 8th house, and your 11th house, right? That money axis and the axis of where it is that you're going in your life, right? But this week we have, again, this moon and sun. What does it mean, right, about the moon and sun? It's a lot more than just simply emotions. You guys are a lot more than about just being emotional. It's about intuition and empathy. You're going to be very, very intuitive right now. Not only about relationships, though. I feel like having to do with anything, it's going to be trining your 9th house, which has to do with anything that you are involved in that requires negotiation. Even though Neptune is in Pisces and Jupiter retrograde is hanging out in there, I do feel like this trine is going to allow things to kind of go more in your favor right now when it comes to anything that you have to end up negotiating. The challenge, though, for you guys can be the Saturnian energy, right? Because it's in a quincunx, or an inconjunct with that 8th house energy right now. So and that's where Saturn is hanging out. And the 8th house has to do with endings and beginnings, and where you show up as a we in relationship, how you blend money with the partner. It has to do like the finalization of like a divorce decree, a divorce agreement, any sort of lawsuit, like the settling up of something, the settling up of an inheritance, any sort of, whether it's an insurance payout or a stock market payout, anything like that. But it does have to do with the cyclical energy of endings and beginnings, and Saturn is in there. So Saturn is really calling for a new approach in this area, and it's sitting directly across from this Mars and Venus energy happening in your 2nd house of money that you make from the work that you do and things that you value. So these are some energies that you have to think about that are going to be playing out, but let's see how they can work out. Here we have selling out as being clarified by express your joy and time to go. Pretty clear here, I would say. So the first card up, selling out. Where are you selling yourself out, Cancer? Where are you maybe putting up with friendships? I feel like you guys are going to be dealing with a lot of friendships. This Mars and Venus energy is going to be squaring your Uranus in your 11th house of friends. So I feel like there are going to be some changes having to do with friends, changes in your goals, where it is that you see yourself going, but shocking surprises, but new. It's like new coming in. So I don't really think this is a bad thing. I feel like it is good. I feel like a lot of you have been going through some sort of transformation, though, when it comes to how you show up in relationship and what you're willing to put up with and not, right? So really recognizing the selling out energy. You just want to be happy. You just want to express your joy, and you're recognizing that it's time to go from something. So this isn't only about, you know, regular intimate relationships. This could be having to do with that business partnership, that friend group. Because with our friends, we also have the shared soul contract a good portion of the time, right? So, yeah, I mean, and this is the thing. You're really very focused on, how do I want to say this? You have a very pure sensibility about you right now. You're recognizing what really deeply matters to you. Things that you would have found yourself defending yourself about 6 months ago, you're just not doing it anymore. But it's not a dramatic kind of thing. I mean, you might feel bad about it, but you're recognizing what really matters to you, what's really beautiful in your life, clarifying the beauty, accept what's dying, and a change in the wind. So there's a change here. There's a change here, absolutely, having to do with connection in some way. But accept it. Accept and welcome the change. Welcome the change. Welcome it. Particularly, you've got Uranus in the 11th house. It's a profound placement for Uranus because Uranus is at home there. That's Uranus's home. Uranus rules the 11th, right? It's the house of Aquarius. Help from above, absolutely beautiful. Of course, you're getting help from above. For goodness sake, we have the North Node in your 12th house in Gemini, Cancer, absolutely. And Mercury, who's finally out of retrograde, who's allowing those mental synapses to be popping in your subconscious mind. You're doing a lot of figuring out in this energy. There's no question. And you're doing it with a lot of help from above. That 12th house energy, very spiritual. Face your shadow. The 12th house is also the house of shadows and the hidden and the unknowns. And it's what we're feeling behind the scenes. It's a very behind the scenes energy. So I feel like with the help of spirit, with the help of people from the other side who have you back and love you, you're really in a very sort of, and I want to say like a non-traumatic way, not saying it's not going to be difficult or painful, but in a very sort of natural way. It's going to feel very organic to you. You're really looking at your stuff, your shadows are where things that you've been putting up with that you're like, why am I doing that? I have more respect for myself than that. I'm not allowing that in my world anymore. Totally opening up to a new life. Just in time. Honestly, I think the timing of this is beautiful. You guys were the North Node of the Moon for a year and a half, right? It's been a year plus since you've been out of that space. It typically takes a year for any of the nodal energies to unknot and bring the gifts in. So I just feel like you and Capricorn are in the space right now where you're receiving your gifts. I really do. And I think that this is all like very, very good. So beautiful way to go into the Celtic Cross spread. So we're going to do the Celtic Cross spread, applying it to any part of life. It could be anything. So this could be relationship, friendship, family situation, anything with money, anything. Let's see. Give the different interpretations. This is you. Here's your current challenge. It's the basis of the situation. So here. Past. Okay. Yep, that sounds right. That sounds right, Cancer. A new outlook and healing and just getting past stuff. This looks very nice. So in the past, we have the Tower reverse. And this shows me that in the past, when things weren't working out in relationships, in friendships, in situations, maybe within family, some part of your life, doesn't mean every part, but a part of your life where you were taking responsibility, even when at the end of the day you were blameless. Right? This also shows me that you holding on to something. Now, this could be anything from a relationship to a project to a career, something that's not strong enough to stand the test of time. You were going after something, and it just wasn't working out for you. So if you've clung to the past to protect yourself from reality in the past, your fears most likely did materialize, because the collapse of the situation was inevitable. It always is when we're dealing with the Tower, because it's a Mars energy, and Mars is just very concerned about us being on our rightful path. What does that even mean? Meaning a path that's healthy for us, you know? And even though you may have seen the flags, the red flags and all of that stuff, it's almost like the reality of something or the impact of something, it can feel kind of sudden and kind of dramatic in the moment, but at least you're going to know exactly where you stand in the situation. So let's see, representing you right now is the Ace of Cups in reverse. And this is you being let down, feeling very disappointed. So some of you may be very disappointed in your friend group, in something that happened at work, your coworkers, family members, a significant other, something happening where you feel very let down and very disappointed. So the current challenge here is the Six of Pentacles. And so the Six of Pentacles, as when it comes up as a challenge, could be very one-sided stuff, right? You could be dealing with people who are very, very selfish right now, or if it has nothing to do with that, you could be in a space of struggle right now where you are needing to, for some of you, you may be giving like one-sided help to somebody when it comes to money, or you may be showing up very much as a very good friend to somebody, but not getting it back, right? Not having things reciprocated. Somebody might be helping you out and they're not getting it back, something like that. But it's like there's this lack of I have your back, you have mine kind of thing. And that being the situation right now. Now we have the basis in the present situation, so let's look at them together. We have the Seven of Pentacles is about hard work paying off, and you being very, very patient, because you kind of know, I feel like just because it's working with the Ten of Swords, I feel like you know that you're transitioning. So whatever's going on with your friendship group, whatever's going on in that relationship, that work situation, you know intuitively that what needs to be exercised right now is patience, because whatever situation it is, you know it requires work. You're almost there. You know you're going to be happy if you don't just give up. In other words, like let's say something's going on at work or in that relationship. You're like, I'm done with friends altogether. I just don't want to do, a lot of people get like that, right? I don't want to deal with people at all. I don't want to deal with that. Or I don't want to work in this industry at all anymore. And a lot of people, but I don't feel like you're going to be going through that. You're going to be more patient, but you're going to allow the end of something. Because that is the Ten of Swords, there is a history here. And it's the finality and the release of something that releases you from the frustration and the stress, even if it's painful and it's disappointing. The end of this challenging era is going to actually make you feel better about yourself. You're going to end up feeling lighter as a result of allowing something to go, allowing something to end, right? There's this need for that. Right? So we have the suggested approach here as the Ace of Swords in reverse. So there's this need to understand the stress that you've been feeling and where your mental blocks might be. There's also this need to pay attention to where maybe you made some poor judgments regarding relationships or friends or situations having to do with your career, and really looking at where maybe you weren't totally honest with yourself about a person, a situation, or whatever it is that you have yourself in. Not in a way that like you're a liar, but you know how sometimes we try to convince ourselves of things and we realize it later on. We're like, yeah, I'm realizing now in retrospect I was really trying to make that situation work when I always knew I was always needing to sort of go after them, and I always had to watch what I say, and I always had to feel like I was walking on eggshells, or that's such an uncomfortable way of being. Right? Because the energy external to you, we have the Five of Swords, right? It's the energy that's surrounding you, right? So there's this clash of desires and reality. So you may first of all be experiencing other people in your life telling you that they don't like how you're acting. I don't like how you're acting, Cancer. I don't like what you're saying. It's making me feel uncomfortable. What's the matter with you? But at the same time, you're sort of surrounded by this like conflict, this tension. And it's something that you can't even mitigate because it's kind of not coming from you, you know? So it's like better to walk away with grace and just deal with the anger and disappointment, because you can't fix the unfixable. You can't mitigate somebody else's stuff. It seems like you're dealing with somebody who's very dug into a personal philosophy, a way of thinking, a way of being, a way of doing something that some part of life that you're engaged with them in, and they're very dug in, and it's like, you know, how could you really even deal with that, right? But we have in your hope and your fear the Two of Wands. And the Two of Wands is really about moving on, right? So some of you, first of all, if you're having a really hard time in a relationship, maybe you're hoping to meet somebody new. If you're single, you may be hoping to meet somebody new, maybe through work or through friends or something like that. For others of you, you're really wanting to make plans and move forward in something. You're wanting to move forward in work. You're wanting to be in a position where you have choice, right? So the way this can look at as a block is like, let's say you have a job now and you put out, you applied for another job. You're in the space of waiting for that response to come in regarding that other job. And then at that point, then you're going to have two aspects to that situation to decide. But right now, I feel like as the block, you're in the space of waiting to hear from somebody, or you're waiting for some sort of opportunity to come in. You might be waiting for somebody to call you up and apologize, or just, you know, hearing from somebody. But Mars in Aries is it's a very positive energy because it's very sort of forward moving. So there might be some sort of area, friendship, relationship, doesn't really matter, where you feel an element of stagnation or you're in the space of waiting. Don't be too concerned about it. It's in your psychology position and it's a minor arcana. But we have the Four of Cups in the reverse in the near future, which is you having a new outlook or direction or some sort of new option, new perspective. It's something new. It's very healthy energy. It's much better than in the upright. And then we have the Star. Very nice. I mean, the Star is about, you know, having this sort of guidance, inspiration, a change for the better after a pretty difficult time. Now, for some of you, this can indicate that you're destined to be with somebody. If somebody's in your life and you're sort of wondering, am I meant to be with them? Am I not? Right? It is kind of like, okay, you're destined to be with somebody. Maybe you need to work it out if it's a healthy relationship. For those of you who are single, this is an indicator where it's time to find your soulmate. You know, it is. This could also indicate, though, Cancer, like maybe your relationships are pretty calm in your life, except for one area. Except for one area, you know. And that's the very area that you want to work on healing. If this has to do with career or money, this is money luck. This is work you do paying off because you've strategized and you've considered things the right way. It's like you prioritized well. Some of you may be in a space where you're changing your direction and saying, you know what, I want to open my own business. I want to launch something. You recognizing that maybe you have a hidden talent that you could put to good use, where you're kind of energetically being pushed to advance yourself and it going really, really well. So I like that a lot. I mean, there's nothing to be mad at there. Six of Wands is the card of success, healthy communication. Chariot is getting away from any of the toxicity. The Wands is a very celebratory and very creative energy. It's also a beautiful energy for relationship and a strong foundation. You're going to be dealing with a difficult energy at some point here. We have the Emperor reverse followed by the Five of Wands. So the Emperor reverse can be somebody who's like very power hungry, somebody with narcissistic tendencies, very domineering. They're going to say or do anything to get their own way. There's a lot of egotism indicated with this. Somebody who does not have healthy boundaries and they feel super comfortable to cross boundaries, and that ends up creating an argument. Where there's this lack of agreement. This isn't, so with the Five of Wands, it's like, even if you go in Cancer and you're like, can we agree to disagree? No. I want my way. It's, you know, that kind of thing. You can't really, you know, it's an argument. It's an argument. But then we have a new beginning. Ace of Pentacles, very nice. Queen of Swords is all about the truth. Page of Cups in reverse. So Page of Cups in reverse is somebody who's very mature. Now, this can indicate a breakup for some of you. This can indicate dependence for others of you. This could just indicate dealing with somebody who's just highly, highly immature. Three of Wands, beautiful energy. This is new, turning you back on the past. So Ace of Pentacles is, I love this, right? For some of you, this is a new job. For others of you, this is a new relationship, a new opportunity in a career. This is new. You put your brain cap on here and you're very motivated to find out the truth and the psychological motivation of others. So Virgo and Libra energy. So you want to make sure that whatever you're getting into, you're very critical about what's fair and what's not fair, and you're going to be very determined to figure things out. So if you're dealing with any sort of immature energy, it's going to become very, very obvious. So for some of you, you're like, look, I can't do this with you, man. Like, you're just too immature. I can't do it. It's time for me to go in a totally other direction. And then we have the Three of Wands. And this is a nice energy because this is one of the good fortune cards. So this has to do with like a thriving business, very busy, intense period. This is you meeting a very new, important relationship, moving on to realize your plans. You might be dealing with unconventional people. Or in an unconventional situation, something very unique about some sort of turn of events that's going to be happening for you. So that is what I'm seeing here for you. Let me just pull one more. Nine of Pentacles, very nice. Love it. I mean, this is independent endeavors. You're doing some really beautiful work on yourself and you're making something happen. The 9 is the number of productivity. So you being very productive in that friendship, in that relationship, in that career, whatever it is, you're not even wasting your energy anymore with people who are just going to fight you tooth and nail on whatever it is that matters to you. You understand? Because you're first of all, a lot of you may be in this space where you feel like, kind of like you're being punished and victimized for your belief system. Because you have Pisces in the 9th house, you have Neptune in there, and Neptune rules Pisces, and that's a very, very emotional, very sensitive energy. And this is also the energy where it's like when you express what it is that you're feeling, people could come in and try to discount you or try to take advantage of you in a particular way. And you're really, really not going to have it. You just don't want to have it, particularly because this new moon energy is trining that. So you're going to feel that you're going to be very supported to stand up for what you believe in this energy. I really like it for you. All right. So that's that. That's that. Now let's get started on our relationship energies. Okay. So we're going to start first with our single friends. Let me just line up my cards here. So, because these are going so long, these readings, so I apologize. You know, go grab a drink, pull up a chair. That's what the timestamps are for. And because everybody was like, yo, you know, you keep getting singles. And oh no, it's just hard to fit everybody in. You know? All right, so why don't we start with our single friends? Singles. Cancer. Singles. Cancer, you have Scorpio in the 5th house. Hello. For those of you who don't know, Scorpio does rule sex. It rules endings and beginnings. It rules the 8th house of intimacy, of showing up as a we in relationships. So, hey, why not? Okay. So we're going to do a 7-card ellipse for all the relationship spreads. So we have the past, present, future advice, external others, possible block, your hope and fear, and the outcome. 6 of Wands. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So we have the 10 of Coins coming into from the past, rather. So some of you may have been married, right? I mean, this has to do with family, maturity, right? A very deep connection. You know, you might have been in this space where you were in that area of dealing with property and sharing and all of this, right? So a lot of you may have been married already. Others of you, you're very focused on doing this. Others of you maybe were engaged and it fell apart, right? Because you guys are single now. But this could be certainly your mindset coming into this energy. And then we have the marriage card as the current situation here. Very focused on, I'm not even going to say particularly marriage. I feel like a lot of you are in this space where you're very focused on the idea of connection and the idea of commitment, and that's okay, right? Because the sun is illuminating your 1st house. First of all, you're looking super cute right now, Cancer, so that's fab, right? I mean, yeah, when the sun is in the 1st house, it's like, yes, you're looking very cute and you're sort of putting yourself out there. But this is about you being focused on commitment and partnership and emotional development, though, and expectations. And in that expectation is the expectation to be with somebody who can conform to your belief system and to what it is that you want in relationship, right? And it's not that you're sitting there going, all my needs need to be met and I'm not going to bother meeting anybody else's needs. That's not it at all. But you're in a more serious space when it comes to relationship. Even though, and this is the thing though, with Scorpio transiting your fifth, don't be surprised if you end up, let's see, Saturn is squaring this energy. Yeah. So you might end up meeting people, but during this particular energy, this month, you may not be able to get into like a serious relationship. It is trining Neptune. Somebody might seem kind of dreamy that you're meeting. But you also may be in a space where you feel like no matter how often you try to get into a relationship, you seem to somehow end up needing to martyr yourself or ending up the victim in a larger situation that you maybe didn't see coming, because you don't come naturally from a suspicious place. You may be now. You may be very untrusting right now because of things that have gone on in the past, but that's not your natural default setting. Your natural default is to be cozy and cuddly and loving and nurturing and home for people, right? I mean, this is just what Cancer is. So that's your natural default, is not that space where you want to be able to trust, you know? But you just don't want, I don't see any, the archetype of Cancer, I don't see wanting anything very casual right now. I don't know what your personal chart is and what's aspecting what, but that's not what I'm feeling right now. Look at this. In the future, we have the Ten of Cups. I mean, you're meeting somebody and it's going to go great. This is about family contentment, security, great energy for family partnership. You know, if you're working on relationship, this is you manifesting it and coming together, right? Communication, romance, family. I mean, these are very, very sort of serious energies here for sure. Absolutely. The advice is the Three of Wands. So this is, again, one of the good fortune energies. So this is like, get married. But it's also recognize that there is an important relationship coming your way. And that's it. And you have to be very focused on moving on to realize your plans. But this is the thing. Recognize that what it is that you might be getting involved in, maybe with somebody who's a little unconventional for you. So what can that look like? Maybe they're a different nationality, a different race. Maybe they're short and you normally go for tall people. Maybe they're much older than you, much younger than you. Something about them that's just not for you very conventional for what you normally go for. And what's clarifying that, the external energy surrounding you, is judgment. And this is, numerology, this is the High Priestess and the Justice energy. So you're recognizing that there's a decision that's very needed here, but you might not really be talking about it, right? That High Priestess is a very secretive energy, and the Justice is about focus on making sure that your emotional needs are being met, but while things need to be fair. So this is you assessing and letting go of the past, and making a decision about the past, and just having the spiritual awakening so that you can shift into a new phase. Very, very healthy. Some of you may be in the space who are single. You may be pulled to revisit an old relationship and decide if it's worth trying again. Doesn't mean you have to. Some of you, if the bones of the relationship were good, then you may be in the space of doing that. Others of you, who are single, you might be just waking up one day and saying, you know what? I want to move. I want to move. I want to go and bring myself to a new place. I kind of want to start over. I just want to move. Some of you may be doing that as well. And that may be all part of this assessment of your past, right? And then we have the hope and fear. Of course, this is a hope. Who doesn't hope for the sun, right? Because in relationship, obviously, this is about growing a beautiful connection. But this is also your fear. And you're afraid that, but listen, I got to tell you, there's no negative side to the sun. There's just not. There just might be a little delay. temporary waiting for something, you know, and that can scare you a little bit. Because you kind of want it already. I feel like you just, but I'm not worried. I'm going to just ignore that, even though it's a major arcana, because that really is more of an internal psychology. I want to pay attention to the outcome energy, which is the Six of Wands, which is feelings being shared, well received, really beautiful communication coming in that deepens the connection with somebody. So this is a very good energy of success. So somebody's coming in here. Love it. Ten of Wands, yep. Seven of Swords, King of Swords, Seven of Coins, okay. All right, listen, I don't know. Yes, I do. Some of you are going to be getting back with somebody. Now, this could be reconciling with somebody from your past. This could be meeting somebody new and swearing you've met them before, right? Where it's a past life connection. Or this could be reconnecting with an old friend that you end up becoming more romantically involved with, you know, where a friend sort of crosses over. But this is the story that's going on. We have the Ten of Wands, which is the energy of overwhelm. You just feel very burdened, right? This is a Saturn in Sagittarius. It's like the idea of being able to move forward, it just feels like you have cement shoes on when it comes to relationships. And a lot of it has to do with the Seven of Swords energy, where maybe you were dealing with somebody who was very dishonest, immoral. They ran away from the relationship. You know, either emotionally or literally. Maybe they ghosted you. Somebody who didn't understand boundaries, was very, very selfish, right? So now you're in the space of being like, well, that ain't happening again, right? We get the King of Swords. It's like, okay, I'm going to totally use my mind rather than my heart to rule my circumstances right now. And on top of that, I'm going to be very, very patient. I'm going to be patient and I'm going to do things the right way. Better that I do that than I jump into something and I end up being very sorry for it. But it's almost like this patient pulling back. We have this energy coming in, right? Which is an energy of harmony, but it's also nostalgia in the past coming back. Now, for some of you, everything I said before, right? You're meeting somebody either that you feel like you met them before, somebody who you were with in the past, or an old friend. But whatever it is, this is about balance, finding the right balance in relationship. So if you were with somebody, right, in the past in a relationship, and if you suffered any sort of mistreatment, things being remedied. So this is not your interpretation if you know you were dealing with a straight up narcissist who's just not capable, right? Obviously this could be maybe if just communication was lousy, or if you guys met maybe at the wrong time, all those other things that could go on. Some of you though may be in the space, very, very healthy as well though, while you're meeting somebody else, where you're really sort of cleaning out your internal garbage from the past. And because this could also be an energy of reconciling with your past, things that happened in the past, finally coming to peace with everything. Just finally coming to peace and feeling like this new sense of harmony and balance in your soul, because you're just making the choice to release something from your past. And it's because of that release that you're able to enjoy your present. So that's the way it's going to be manifesting for many of you as well. Okay. So that's for our single friends. Let's pull an ellipse for our friends who are in relationship. Nine of Swords in the past. So we had some anxiety and maybe some depression. Not responding well to the stress of something in the past. So some of you may be in the space right now of just getting away from the toxicity. Some of you may literally be on a little bit of a break, right? The Six of Swords can be detachment, at least for a time, taking a break, allowing some space to do some internal work. But this could even manifest more mentally than physically. So you can have the Six of Swords energy and share a bed with somebody every night and just feel worlds away from them emotionally, right? Not a comfortable energy, but that's, you know, what I see. So here we have, in the future, we have the Knight of Swords. Knight of Swords, very unexpected kind of thing. Unpredictable roller coaster energy, highs and lows, things being rather chaotic, truths coming out, conflicts coming out, confusing. It could be a relief though, depending on what's coming out. Like if you've been suspicious of something going on, this could be like, aha, I knew it kind of thing, right? You don't expect to find it out. So this is very much an expect the unexpected, but there's chaos to accompany this. So that's what I see in the future. So right now the advice is pay attention to this. Pay attention to this Five of Swords energy, because you have to look at where is the clash between what it is that you want in relationship and the reality that you're living. And you have to pay attention to the tension and the conflict that you're feeling in the situation that you're in. And you have to understand that you can't control what's going on. You're better off just like walking away, at least for a time period, and letting things settle, no matter how angry or sad or disappointed, whatever it is, because somebody's got something going on that you're involved with that you can't mitigate. You can't fix their stuff. You can only fix your own stuff. You can't fix theirs, you know? And here we have the Two of Pentacles. So Two of Pentacles, this is externals. This can be others as well as the energy surrounding you. So Two of Pentacles is this need to negotiate something and needing to make a decision regarding more than one path, more than one situation within the relationship. So you might be dealing with somebody who's experiencing a sense of lack in your relationship, and they're trying to figure out how to handle it. You could be the one who's feeling this, where you feel like there's something missing, you know that, and you need to figure out what it is that you're going to do. Right? And then we have your block here is the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups is very restless. Some of you, if you've been in a relationship for a long time, your relationship might just really need some spice. You know, might need a few date nights, some, you know, connecting in the right way. That's going to be for some of you. For others of you, yeah, I mean, it is this energy of restlessness, of apathy, of feeling disillusioned, of feeling like, you know, am I ever going to be happy in this? I'm not sure. But there is also, at the same time, this need to heal these unhealed past issues. But it is this, I can't deal with this relationship anymore because, you know, he or she does A, B, and C, and they keep doing this, and this, and there's no way it's going to work. It's that kind of thing where even if you want to work it out, that energy is serving as a block. You know, you want to have this new outlook, you want to have this new direction, but this is like a challenge for you. But this is very in your psychology. The outcome energy, though, we have Temperance, which is really nice. Now, in numerology, this, going back to the Hierophant, we have the Hierophant energy, right? We got that in that single read. So depending on where on the spectrum you guys find yourselves. But here, this is about a new level of trust and very patient and empathetic cooperation after a challenging time period. So there's this need to reconcile, and there's this need for a reconciliation, for healing. This is very inflected by angelic guidance as well. But something needs to be balanced out. Temperance is a very alchemical energy, you know. It's like, what do you need? What do they need? What does the situation need? What does everybody need? And everybody's ears and eyes are open, and everybody's full of empathy and all of that. So let's see what else we could find. Eight of Pentacles in the reverse does indicate, you know, focusing on something needing to be perfect a little too much, right? Wanting to work on something, for sure, but not focusing on the right things and expecting something to be a little too perfect. Clarifying, okay. So you want to make sure here that if you guys are in a weird space and you're feeling very sort of nostalgic for the past, for an earlier time in the relationship, and you really want things to sort of be remedied in the relationship, you want to make sure that you're not holding too closely to things needing to be, they must be a certain way. They have to be A, B, and C, right? There's got to be a lot of reciprocity exercised in this relationship. And there needs to be discussion about where is the shackling in this, right? The Devil energy in numerology is the Lover's energy, which indicates the choice and the decision to address issues in the relationship. So whatever is difficult about this connection, whether it's, you know, is somebody nursing an addiction? Does somebody have depression or anxiety unchecked, untreated? Somebody have a hard time regulating their personality? You know, where is the shackling? Where there's this imbalance? It needs to be looked at. because you guys need to be there more for each other. And we have the Page of Cups, which is about good news coming in, right? Having to do with the relationship. A good conversation coming in. Seven of Pentacles, patience. Four of Wands, very nice. Four of Wands is a lovely energy. It's a lot of expression, a lot of opening up your heart, a lot of, it's a very strong foundation energy as well. But it's success after going through a difficult time. It's why a lot of times we call this the honeymoon energy. So it seems like those of you who are in a relationship or in a weird space, but it looks like things will end up working out a-okay, as long as that imbalance gets addressed. And that's not always easy. So it depends on what else is aspecting your chart and what's going on in your life. Okay, last but not least, our complicated friends. Complicated, or maybe you're in separation. So we will pull some separation cards, okay? We have here Knight of Wands. Knight of Wands, fire up your ambition. Fiery energy. Lover's energy in the past. Right now, you're the Wheel of Fortune in the reverse, the Hermit in the future. Okay. So I'm vibing a cycle, a very cyclical kind of jam going on here, Cancer, where I feel like you guys were together and then you're not together and you're together and you're not together. And with the Lover's energy, it's like, all right, are we going to do this or not? Like, we have the choice. We have to come together here and recognize that, no, it's not perfect, but if we work on it together, we can just follow our hearts and really work at this and try to make it what it is that we want it to be, right? And it's with this, the blessing of Archangel Raphael, the luminary of the sun, that you're able to do it. So that's in the past, and now we have in the present the Wheel in the reverse. And the Wheel in reverse can kind of be a challenging time period, right? And this does tell me like you're experiencing closure in some way. So some of you might experience this as having a lack of confidence in your own intuition and an ability to make some solid decisions for yourself, right? Others of you are just going to be very sort of super focused on persisting in working out or on this particular relationship, no matter what. But it's like you're in a space of feeling really bad about things. It does seem like. Now, in the future, we have the Hermit energy. So the Hermit is Virgo, and Virgo's all about solving problems, right? It's the landlord of the 6th house. So this could be, if you're alone right now, like if you guys are in separation, it's just because the way the relationship's been up to this point hasn't really been meant to work out in this way. And it's time for you to do some work on yourself and think about what's been going on in this experience so that the mistakes aren't repeated in the future with anybody, you know? If you're in this weird space and you're in the relationship, then, you know, this can indicate that it's time to invest more energy and more time and more thought to work to smooth over any issues that do need addressing, that are making this complicated, you know? But it is this need to kind of problem solve, for sure, you know? Now we have the 7 of Cups, though. The 7 of Cups is the energy of advice, and it's in reverse, which is about clarity and the illusion of something ending. Having a restored sense, this is very much eyes wide open, having to do with the situation. No question, your eyes are wide open. The illusion of something has ended. You're not allowing yourself to sort of be sucked into anything anymore. You're just not allowing it, right? Now, the external energy surrounding you, or this could also indicate others. I feel like somebody may not be completely forthcoming, but the energy surrounding you, I do feel like, has to do with confusion and disappointment because you feel very let down, right? And you're not sure if you can trust that the relationship is going to actually work out in the long term, and that could be pushing you to make a decision in the relationship. But the moon also is very secretive, right? It rules secrets. It rules things that we can't see. So there can be secrets going on here as well with somebody that you're dealing with. They're not telling you everything. And you're sitting there going like, I'm not even sure what's real, what's not. Like, I don't know. You just may not be sure. We have the Justice in reverse. It's the challenging energy. This is like your block here. And this is difficult, right? Because this tells me that things feel very out of balance, you know, and just this block, just like something not going in your favor, having to do with this relationship. So I just feel like there's dishonesty or something, somebody's being very unfair with you, and or they're not really listening to you, Cancer. It could be that too, like your voice isn't being heard in this situation, and that could be very, very frustrating because you could feel very misunderstood. So if you're feeling like this, you have to stand up for yourself, find your voice in a way that they'll understand, whatever their language is, right? Because you have to maintain your values. It's all about your values, right? Absolutely. Especially with Pisces in the 9th house. You don't want people taking advantage of you, right? So it really is about standing up for your values. Maintain that. Just be sure that you're being honest about whatever it is that you're fighting for. That's the only thing, right? But we have the final outcome energy, the Tower reverse. Cancer, please don't tell me that you're in any way taking responsibility for anything within something not being good right now, for something that you're blameless for. I'm not suggesting that maybe you didn't do certain things perfect, but this is not the kind of, because this is the energy where it's like you're looking to take the blame for something. No. So some of you are going to resonate with it like that. This can also indicate that you're holding on to the relationship, even though you know intuitively that it's like you're holding on to a shadow. It's like trying to hold on to smoke. You know that it's not going to be able to last the long term, right? Where it's just a matter of time before it falls apart again, right? You know that, right? So you can't feel responsible for the forces outside of your control. You can only control yourself. You can't control them. And it does seem like that. Let's pull some in separation cards for those of you in separation. My heart always comes back to you even when I don't want it to. I couldn't go against my family to be with you. Hello. I mean, that's pretty specific. I have to be in contact with you again. I miss you too much. Oh, well, hello. You know, it's hard, isn't it? So much, I always say it would be so much easier if we were just a bunch of robots. Delete. You know, because relationships are so complicated. Even if somebody hurt you, even if you guys can get on the right page, it doesn't mean that there's not love or emotions here, right? Speaking of love, my heart always comes back to you even when I don't want it to. Unconditional love, self-love, oneness, passion, affection, attraction. But remember, there's self-love in there too. You have to really love yourself as well. Palm tree. I couldn't go against my family to be with you. We have stability, security, permanence. Okay. Somebody is very, very concerned about a lack of security. Now, we could easily say that it's you because you're Cancers, right? But I don't feel like, you're not able to feel that sense of security because somebody won't go against, I say go against their family. Maybe stand up to their family is probably a better way to actually word that, because that's not go against. That's like abandon. You don't, but to stand up for you, right? I have to be in contact with you again. I miss you too much. And then we have girl talk, time with friends, moving on, happily single, living in the moment, having fun. Yeah, I mean, this is you just making a very smart decision where you're recognizing that unless they could come around to being a lot more equitable in the relationship on every level, there's no way that this is going to be able to work. Because it does seem like there's this lack, there's this disappointment, and there's this lack of things being equitable and fair, and somebody expecting you to accept something that is just not okay with your belief system, you know, and you're feeling very strong to stand up for yourself right now. Yeah, especially, forget it, especially with the sun in there. Yeah. And with Aries in the 10th house, we're very powerful to stand up for yourself as well. So I do like those energies. Anyway, my friends, that is what I have for you for this week. I hope this was helpful in some way, some food for thought somewhere in here. Thank you so much for joining me. Have an awesome week. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.